and welcome to Humble and Hungry. I'm Emily, and here on Humble and Hungry, I share my personal wellness journey with you with the help of published research and expert guests to find out how we can lead happier and healthier lives. Today's episode is dedicated to C-Section Awareness Month. The National Library of Medicine reports that in 2017, over 29% of births were C-sections and over 18% were emergency C-sections. So it really got me asking, why, if this experience is so common among women, don't we know more about the details of it? Today, I thought I would share a little bit of my own experience with you. So let me share a little bit of background. I am a mother of two, and my first son was a vaginal delivery, and my second was a C-section about 20 hours after I was induced. Both experiences were powerful and surreal. Both deliveries were hard, and both recoveries were tough, but in very, very different ways. Today, I'm here to talk about my C-section. First of all, I am so grateful for access to resources that allowed me to have a C-section when I needed one to safely bring my son into the world. The circumstances that surrounded mine left me with a little bit of trauma, and I think if I was more informed about what to potentially expect during that C-section, some of that trauma could have been avoided. I asked on my Instagram, was your birth experience what you expected going in? And 82% of respondents said no. And that alarming number kind of motivated me to do this episode and help normalize the conversation around childbirth, especially when it's a touchy one. Now, there are a million things that can happen during childbirth, but I'm compelled to share these 5 things with you that happened during my C-section. All right, 5 things I didn't know about C-sections until I had one. Number 1 is that shaking from labor may continue while you have a C-section. I knew it was normal for some women to shake during delivery, and when I started to shake, no one in the room even mentioned it. I really trembled on and off, and then during my C-section, I'd say it continued for the first hour. Number 2 is they may not bring you your baby immediately after the delivery. I expected my son to come right up to me as soon as he was born, the same way my first son did in a vaginal delivery, and that was not the case, and it really scared me in the moment. I thought something was maybe wrong, and I wish I was more prepared for what to expect. So if you're expecting and you know you're going to have a C-section, this might be a really good question to talk to your doctor about. Number 3 is that the surgery itself may continue long after your baby is born. Now, every situation is different and every childbirth is different, but for me, my son was born pretty quickly after entering the operating room, and I was not prepared mentally for having to listen to people operate on me for an hour and a half after my son was born. My husband and my baby were whisked away, and I remained in the room, and I really wished I had some context in what to expect in that moment. Number 4 is that after your C-section, you may go to a recovery area with other women. My C-section lasted about 2 hours, and that was about after 20 hours of labor. So my mind and body were reeling, and I expected to return to my labor and delivery room with some privacy. And that wasn't the case. That's not how it works. You go to a recovery room where I was. So if you're expecting a C-section, or if you want to talk to your doctors about this might be a really good question, especially for the hospital, on what to expect after the C-section. Number 5 is that the incision itself is really a big part of the recovery. Now, I knew that abdominal surgery was going to be quite a recovery, but I never realized how much the incision itself was a part of that. I had staples, and I had to go in to have them taken out about 2 weeks later, and they really burned whenever I was standing up or sitting down, especially. And this was not something I ever expected or knew about. On Instagram, I asked my followers to describe their C-section or C-sections in one word. Now, without context about their deliveries, take a look at some of the answers I got back. Some of the feedback describing C-sections in one word were safe, intense, surreal, emotional, panic, traumatic, and disappointing. And unfortunately, 3 people actually used the word terrifying. If you experienced any of these feelings, I hope you find comfort in knowing that you're not alone in it. Also, I plan to dig deeper into birth trauma in future episodes, so if you want to learn more about that, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll be sharing some expert guests and powerful research in the future. Now, if you experience birth trauma or you have a loved one who has, it's really important to remember that all pain is valid. After my second childbirth, I instantly told myself that I was fine, that many women fared far worse. And I'm really grateful that I had a support network that told me that no, all pain is valid. That just because someone has it worse doesn't mean you don't need to recover from your own pain. And that was really valuable to me and was a really powerful lesson. So also please just remember, all pain is valid. And with that, it's also important to remember all the resources out there. Of course, going to therapy, finding online communities, telling your friends and family when you just don't feel right, and so much more. So always remember to talk to someone. You can always even inbox me. Now, I like to end every episode with a happy thought. So please join me for my humble and hungry happy thoughts. First, a quote by Laura Harm. We have a secret in our culture, and it's not that birth is painful. It's that women are strong. And next up, Buffalo Boss Babes posted a quote last month that I thought really rang true when talking about normalizing the conversation around childbirth. And what they posted was, when women support each other, incredible things happen. Thanks for watching this episode of Humble and Hungry.